Good morning, everybody. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio, Sinoland in Shenzhen, just south of the Tropic of Cancer. And have a wonderfully interesting and informative comparative article between the West and China, which is always uh, illustrative and worth considering. The title is Sordid Boeing and FAA Capitalist Crimes versus China's Communist-Socialist Way. Above, picture, if you don't want to crash your Boeing 737 MAX 8 plane into a nosedive, you have to pay for 2 extra instrument add-ons. This is the psychopathic logic of capitalism. Let's get started. The incredibly cruel, corrupt, criminal history of the West crony capitalism concerning the death of 271 innocents in a pair of totally avoidable Boeing plane crashes tells you everything you need to know about the mirage of Adam Smith, quote, invisible hand, end of quote, and his even more mythical, quote, free markets, end of quote. What a joke. To call capitalism cruel, corrupt, criminal, and crony is to repeat yourself 5 times. It's all one big hell-on-earth chainsaw of genocide, slavery, resource theft, and war. Capitalism is incapable of surviving any other way. 2 Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes went down, one Indonesia's Lion Air, and just recently the other one was Ethiopian Air. Their tragic demises were almost identical in nature, and credible reports came out that a, quote, stalling software override problem, end of quote, had long been known at Boeing and very likely at FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration in the United States also, but in the name of capitalist greed, it was suppressed. Moon of Alabama completely exposed this sordid tale of crony collusion between Boeing and FAA. The romantic-sounding Laissez-Faire economics. In French, it means just let things take their course, come what may. But what it is neoliberal propaganda brainwash for open season to lie, steal, rape, and kill for individual profit. Moon of Alabama completely exposed this crony capitalist horror show in blow-by-blow, sordid detail. Articles about the Lion Air crash began to peel the onion. It was even reported that a flight the day before was saved from the same Boeing design fault thanks to a third pilot who happened to hitch a ride and figured out how to keep the plane from crashing. Ethiopian Air did not train their pilots for the 737 MAX 8. Why? Boeing told all their customers it was unnecessary since it was so similar to other models. Of course, Ethiopian Air thought this was approved by FAA, which looked the other way. FAA continued to whore for Boeing, insisting the plane was safe, thus endangering the lives of thousands of passengers. This while everybody around the world, and China was one of the first, started grounding all their Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes, but not in the US and Canada. Finally, with so much victims' blood splattered over Uncle Sam's face and hands, Trump intervened, shut it down in the US, and called for an FBI investigation. The latter, you know, will be a total whitewash. Why? Crony capitalism works because it pays for the endless revolving doors between capitalism and government, where companies write the laws and then bribe and extort legislatures and courts to vote for them. Trump no sooner nominated a corporate yes man to head the FAA, a former Delta Airlines executive. Above the level of mom and pop businesses, which I fully endorse, capitalism cannot function any other way. To crown the pathological drive of profits over people and the planet, it was later discovered that if a Boeing customer wanted the instrumentation necessary to keep the 737 MAX 8 from crashing, they had to pay for 2 extra add-ons. If you find this shocking, then you are brainwashed about capitalism and need to get smarter before all of humanity is destroyed by it. And of course, like all over the neoliberal world, no one at Boeing and FAA has been arrested or resigned. The West psychopaths still run the show. Capitalism and accountability have always been a deadly oxymoron. Not so in communist-socialist China. Every time there is a natural or human-made disaster, those government and business people involved are immediately on the hook. For human-made accidents, CEOs, officers, high-level managers, as well as those on the ground, and even board members are rounded up for questioning. If there is even a whiff of malfeasance, they are kept locked up or restricted to house arrest until an investigation is conducted. If they are charged with mismanagement, neglect, or corruption, they are going to stand trial, and if found guilty, they can lose their jobs, get kicked out of the Communist Party of China, the CPC, pay fines, do prison time, or even face execution if lives were lost and/or many people injured. I wrote about this in detail in the China trilogy, see below, about how tens of people did hard time for the melamine milk scandal here and the war between national milk producers Yili and Mengniu. Tens of people did hard time and several got a bullet in the back of their heads. I compared it to the Vioxx scandal in the West, which killed up to 500,000 victims. No apologies were given, and management got huge bonuses for all the money they made for Monsanto and Pfizer. They are heroes on Wall Street and capitalist role models for the Fortune 500. I also wrote about the recent vaccine scandal in China. Baba Beijing immediately swung into action, putting the world's most functioning participatory democracy to work. Accountability and socialism, communism are synonyms. Beijing's government is not worm-eaten with corporate crooks like in the West and the rest of the neoliberal countries, which is most of them. The equivalent of the FAA in China is the CAAC. Its administrator is Feng Zhenglin, a CPC member, college graduate, and credited senior engineer. The his four deputies also have posted resumes. Li Jian is a CPC member, Civil Aviation Flight University graduate and Level 1 pilot. Dong Jie has a PhD in management and is a credited senior economist. Wang Jiqing is a CPC member and has a bachelor's degree in engineering. Liu Shui got his master's degree from the Party School of the Central Committee of the CPC. This means he's the person in charge to make sure everybody at CAAC keeps their noses and bank accounts clean, to live and work by Mao Zedong's timeless motto, serve the people. All of them have lifelong careers doing just that, spending decades meritocratically earning their way to the top-level management positions that they have that concern the safety of millions of travelers. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have these guys overseeing China's airlines and airways and not a snake pit full of corrupt whores from Wall Street hired from the very same companies they are supposed to monitor. I know Baba Beijing puts people's safety over profit. I have friends who are pilots for Chinese airlines. They laugh about how many millions of liters of jet fuel are wasted in China during takeoffs and landings because the national protocol is so conservative and slow. No one can argue about China's flight safety record, which is one of the best in the world. This is because Baba Beijing is not infested with thousands of corporate lobbies and is not being bribed and extorted to pass, quote, laws, end of quote, written by the, quote, regulated, end of quote, corporations to maximize profits at the cost of countless human lives and the desecration of Mother Earth. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland. Please make a contribution at the top of the page. via PayPal or with a bank card. Thank you.